the 49ers Pro Day. We did talk about Kellen Mond being there, but I wanted to ask you again, did you think when we're talking, because we've talked about these later rounds
Yeah.
and going best player available, is there any quarterbacks that you could see the 49ers taking that would supplant um one of the quarterbacks that they would have on their team, so Brandon Allen, and really be like a third string quarterback that maybe they can end up grooming to be a long-term backup, like instead
That
of
could
them every
happen.
year trying to sign a guy?
Yeah. Yeah. It's possible. It's that if you make the Purdy leap where you become a better player than expected, then yeah, that can happen with anybody. Devin Leary from Kentucky, Austin Reed from Western Kentucky. Those are the two guys that I think are most like Purdy, who would go sixth, seventh UDFA, and those are the players that I would expect the Niners to at least look at and evaluate. I don't know if they would take them, but that's the guys that I would look at in terms of saying that we want somebody that does Purdy style things. Those are the quarterbacks that do it.
Okay, I like that. And then really quickly, I will say, just because got to bring up an Owens member. Um, Clutching Sports says that Terique Owens, so Terrell Owens' son, had a really solid day.
Cool.
Um, could you see the 49ers targeting a guy like that? I feel like fans always get really excited about like the legacy
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I'm always like more team just like I never want to get someone because of their last name. I want to like if a guy ended up being great, but yeah. And
Yeah,
then
yeah. It's I'm not
on
into the
on the same
legacy
thing with
kids either, and I'm derided for being so negative on it.
I don't know
There's
what
a lot of people.
KW means.
Well, what do you mean? Well, legacy. So like the last name. So Frank Gore's son, Jerry's son, Christian McCaffrey's brother. I just look at it as who's the best player available when they pick, and when I've done that and in run a mock, the legacy kids are not
Aren't
picked.
there? What does KW mean? Really quickly, I wanted to bring up his chats because he does say hit that like button. Thank you guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. But then also he comments according to Larry
According to Larry.
Tariq,
Okay.
but I don't
Well,
know. I
I
don't
don't know
know
what
what
KW
KW
means
means.
either. But Tariq playing well, that's good for him. And you look at it and say his dad was not exactly well known coming out of what Tennessee State. So we'll see what happens there.
He's in the
But
Hall of Fame
there's
already.
always the possibility that he ends up being catching on and playing well. But as far as I know, this that right now he's got an undrafted grade on him that he's UDFA.
I'm gonna ask.
Maybe in settings like this, he starts to get known, gets a name, and can move up.
I want to ask a dumb question potentially. Terrell Owens is he in the Hall of Fame already or no? He's not there yet, right?
I don't know.
I feel like he
I
should
don't
be.
I don't follow that closely, so I don't want to say anything wrong.
I don't think he is, but I'm team he should be. I know that a lot of people, because of his attitude,
He's earned
feel
it on the
like
field, and that should be it.
yeah,
He
yeah.
should get
I
in.
that's how I feel too. Can I ask you? This is very off topic, but I was arguing with my friend about this. I think that Barry Bonds should be, and so I mean, this is left taking a left turn, but I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. And my friend was like, "No, he cheated," and therefore was like taking away opportunities from guys who potentially could have broken records who
Yeah.
were younger or whatever. And I do understand that, but I feel like, and maybe this is one of those things like two wrongs don't make a right, but I feel like there are guys in there who at least are heavily rumored to have done steroids. And I just grew up when I was on my mom's side of my family. A lot of times she would travel a lot, and I would stay with a babysitter, Karen, and she was like the biggest Giants fan, and this was during like Barry Bonds like heyday, and I just remember
Okay.
like the amount of attention I feel like he brought to that sport was crazy, and I just feel like for that to not be recognized is kind of
Well,
crazy.
it is recognized in terms of the record books, although it has an asterisk next to it. It's for me on all of these people, drug cheating. My favorite sport is track and field, and so I take a
Okay.
very hard line
I ran,
on, yeah,
I ran
if you're a
track
drug
in
cheat,
college.
goodbye. So my
And
point on all of these folks
I should have done drugs. I was
that
bad.
were drug
Not like
cheats is
bad,
that,
but you know.
yeah, my answer to all of these folks, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Pete Rose, etc., all of them,
Out
you
of
can
here.
get in posthumously only. That's the way that I do it. Is as long as you're alive, you can't get in.
Yeah, you have to live with
But
the shame and the guilt.
afterwards, we'll
Okay.
consider you then and only then.
Okay, I like that. I like.
Deny
See,
them the
I wanted
knowledge
you to
that they
have.
were in the Hall of Fame,
I
but put
wanted
them
you
in
to have a hard
posthumously. Okay,
stance. I wanted you to have a hard stance on something, and I brought it out of you. So look
yeah.
at
Well, there you go.
that. Really quickly, I wanted to get to some. I did say this. I don't know if you heard. I ran track in college. I was not. I was like one of the people they took like pity on. Like I didn't even do most of the
Oh no.
races. Like I
Yeah.
was like on the team. So that was cool. And like I got to tell people like, oh, I'm on the team. But then like if my dad or someone was like, should I come watch you? I was like, no, you shouldn't. Because either A, I'm gonna
Oh
be
well.
last, or B, I don't even like qualify good at it. Like they just
Yeah,
need
you
a certain
can't
amount
even
of players.
compete,
I'm the
right?
Kellen Mond. If they end up
Okay.
signing, I'm Kellen Mond. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, I guess you we needed someone. And I always did the like the 400. So I was last on
Okay.
that. So first of all, no
400's
one wants to
brutal.
do the 400 in general. So like
No. No.
you're already more likely to get on the team and if you're doing the 400 if you're bad because like so many people don't want to do it. But even out of the people who want to do the 400, I was still last out of them. So
Okay.
it was
Okay. Well,
look at
400
that.
is one of the toughest races in track. It's brutal because
Well,
you have to sprint the whole way and you die, and you have
mhm.
to figure out, okay, how do I deal with death when I've still got
Yeah.
150 meters to go?
And I
It's
feel like
hard.
I
I was
did
a distance
everything.
runner. It was easy for me.
I feel like I did everything. I love distance running. Um I started my like running journey in when I was at community college in San Luis Obispo, and I swear to God, like we saw the most beautiful sights, like running all over Montana de Oro. For people who don't know, it's just like it's
Oh,
a beach where the rocks are like it literally looks like aliens. Like it's unlike any ocean rock that I've ever seen. It's so
yeah,
beautiful
and
up
it's
in the
just
hills.
breathtaking. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The best
Um
sights I've ever seen in my life have been running.
yeah.
The Santa Cruz
Because
Mountains,
you like get to places that you wouldn't
San Diego.
otherwise like go to. Yeah. I
Right.
love that.
And you see things that you wouldn't normally just because you're out in the hinterlands and nobody has access to them. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just beyond beautiful.
The
It's amazing.
What's that? There's like isn't there in San Diego? There's like a hike that has like a little peak thing. I've seen it. I remember like
Yeah.
on Instagram seeing. I've always. I feel like San Diego is beautiful. I went there when I was getting into UCs. I got into UC San Diego, so I like toured the school. My dad and I
Nice.
actually drove down there, and I remember we like
It's a
spent
great
all day
campus.
walking all around beautiful campus. But that La Jolla area,
Oh,
phenomenal.
it's
It was like
stunning.
8
Yeah.
p.m. and we went in the ocean.
Oh,
It
nice.
was like I was oh my gosh. The
Yeah.
only reason I didn't go, I ended up going to UCSB. The only reason I didn't choose because like that school was objectively like I think San Diego is so beautiful, but San Diego is crazy. Even as a transfer student, they want you to take like because they want all their students to this is probably a good thing, they want their students to be like well rounded, so they like require you to take like upper division math, upper division science, like all these things. And I was a psych major, and I did biopsych, so I was in the research side of it, and I did some science, but they wanted you to do like upper English, like no matter what your major was, you had to take like certain upper division classes in things that weren't your major. And I
Yep.
just was like, I'm gonna be in school for. I thought I was gonna have to. Like, if I would have gone there, I would have had to pay for a full extra year because of like the way that my classes
Just
transferred
because of
over and
what they
stuff.
required. Yeah. UCSD
Yeah,
is very
it was
rigorous on
crazy.
that. I went to
Yeah.
San Diego State, so
Yeah.
I took it easier.
I heard beautiful things about that. Like I said, I went to Questa for community college, and then I went to Santa Barbara, which I also loved. Santa Barbara is also the
Yeah,
most beautiful.
UCSB is beautiful.
Um, I'm such a fan of like that the Spanish architecture, like white buildings with red roofing. I feel like that's
Yeah, well, that's
so
all of
gorgeous.
Santa Barbara, basically. It's
Yes.
nice.
Um,
Okay, so
and then
Chris.
Chris
Let's
Orenson
see.
says, first and foremost, the 49ers need to draft a right tackle or a guard. Look, he's starting it strong. We need we need an offensive lineman all the way. At least 3. I don't want anything else but that. Brock Purdy needs to be protected at all times. No, Tom, this was the determination I was asking from you earlier.
Okay. No, I
And
respect the
I feel
passion.
like I think he watched our stream last week when Tom and I talked about how if Jed York, John Lynch, and Kyle Shanahan had as much cojones as Eddie DeBarlo and those guys, that
Yeah, no.
they were more than willing to commit an entire draft to one position, but we don't
One position
anticipate
group.
that that will be what the
But yeah, would
49ers will
that be
do.
true with this group? No. You can say that, no, I want these guys, I want to protect Purdy. I get it. I agree that part of what they need to do in the evolution of the offense is to do a better job of investing in the offensive line. Has to happen. Because in the playoffs, you look at it and say, okay, in both Super Bowls, why did they lose? In part because playoff games are won on matchups, and they lost the matchup on the offensive line. Chris Jones dominated in both games. And part of why is because the Niners didn't invest in the offensive line. So you need to do this.